Tchouaméni to Real Madrid, Bissouma potentially to Tottenham Hotspurs, Kamara to Aston Villa, Sangari to Liverpool, Chelsea to go for Declan Rice. Let's discuss.
Subscribe to Thai Talk CFC.
Now, the situation is that, we have seen Spurs have agreed a deal worth 25 million euros for the Brighton midfielder Yves Bissouma. And I believe that he's a good player. He's 25, 26, probably around that age. And he's a quality player. We know that he has put out a good performance whenever he's played against us. He has been impressive throughout the seasons since he's been playing at Brighton. Man City have also kept an eye on him, but Spurs have actually done a good business, and this is potentially their second signing this summer. Obviously, they have agreed, and I'm pretty sure it's close to them signing Ivan Perisic on a 2-year deal. And he's a good player. He can play as a left wing back, but he's naturally a midfielder. And it's tremendous that they got him. In the perspective of those Spurs fans, it will be tremendous for them. And Antonio Conte is actually getting the players that he wants. And we've known that ever since he's been at Chelsea, and after he left, and one of the reasons why the relationship didn't work out between Antonio Conte and Chelsea is the fact that he in a sense didn't believe he was being backed. And there's proof, because he wanted certain players. He wanted Van Dijk, he wanted Stones, he wanted players like that, and he never got them. He had to get in other players that as alternatives. Bakayoko was a player that came around into the team. Obviously, we saw that we had signed Rudiger, and Rudiger worked out in the long run. Obviously, we know in the closing stages it worked out quite well under Tuchel. But we've seen that he wanted so many players, he didn't get them. We struggled to get top 4. We didn't get top 4. We finished 5th, and we won the FA Cup 2018. Qualified for Europa League then for the competition in terms of FA Cup, and a 5th place position stop. And it wasn't the greatest, and the relationship was toxic. It ended toxic between Conte and Chelsea. But he's gone to Spurs now. He's doing business. I have to say this. I'm on recording on the green chair for the Global Fans FC channel. It's a thing that I had mentioned in the season that just ended. With Spurs, with them being eliminated from the Conference League, I said that we've seen what happens when Conte does not have another competition to focus on in the week or anything, and he has to focus on the domestic league itself. What can happen? We won the league because of that advantage that we had of only playing one game a week, or probably 1 or 2 games a week. So that is something that when I saw that they got eliminated, I was like, oh, you know what? They have Kane, they have Son, they have Bergwijn, and obviously we know they got Kulusevski, and they brought in players like they had Romero as well, and they had players that could actually benefit the team in a good way. So I was like, you know what? They actually could get top 4, because we've seen what Conte can do with this. So I said, this could be a blessing in disguise for them. So said, so done. They got 4th place, and we got 3rd. Now, I know a lot of fans are not happy about the way that the businesses have been going on. We've seen, that Haaland has signed for Man City. Darwin Núñez is close to Liverpool at the point of the recording. He could be confirmed. Tchouaméni, Real Madrid. Kamara, Aston Villa, free agent, signed for Aston Villa. And Aston Villa, I must say, they're doing some good business as well. And this is something that really upsets fans. But for me, I believe with every fiber in my body and with every muscle and bone that makes up my skeletal system, that I know that Chelsea are doing things behind the scenes. I believe that's the case. I know fans want to be seeing little updates every hour or every other hour saying that Chelsea have made a bid, da 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 da. But I prefer to be in silence. This is the reason why I believe that when you have silence, or when you're secretive about your deals, it makes it easier, because the media has fabricated these news. They've made up news saying that the club are in particularly linked with these players. They want these players. They have interest. They're monitoring. They're assessing FC, monitoring FC, looking into situation FC. But I think that when we're secretive, it reduces the competition that we can have, because that means that teams don't know which players are the targets for us, and we're able to get those players in without lesser competition if those players are not really popular. And I think that's the case when you think about the likes of like Chilwell at the time. Not many teams wanted Chilwell. I mean, Ziyech, Pulisic. I mean, we did certain things like that. Werner had the competition between Liverpool and we won that. Havertz, Real Madrid were in for him, but we got those players in. Edouard Mendy, no one wanted him other than Chelsea. Thiago Silva, he was a free agent. We got him in. It worked long term. But with Declan Rice, and point of this video is to speak about Declan Rice in particular, I believe that Declan Rice is a good player. I cannot take that away from him. He's a good player. I will never say that he's not a good player. He's a good player. He's tremendous. He's a leader, and he's a captain of West Ham. The thing for me is that, is he a player that Chelsea could use that can actually accommodate what they want to do in the midfield? That is my question, and I'm going to leave that open to you guys as well to tell me, do you think that Declan Rice can offer what we need him to offer in terms of supporting? Jorginho has that supporting role. He doesn't really live up to that, but we have seen that with Declan Rice, we've seen what he does for England. People say that in international, when you're playing for your country, you don't really look the same as you're playing with your club. And I've seen that with Maguire for England. He does good defensively with England, and he doesn't really do that for Man United. We've seen what Declan Rice can do for West Ham in terms of winning the ball back as a ball-winning midfielder. He goes up the pitch, he plays a box-to-box and a ball-winning midfielder type of role, where he's in the attacking side, making passes, trying to link up with the other midfielders who probably play ahead of him. Maybe like your Mason Mount, and you have like your attackers like your Sterling and your Kane, and like on a rare occasion where you have Calvert-Lewin or examples like that. Players like that can actually participate in the build up to goals that they try to create, or the chances that they try to create. But do you think that Declan Rice can actually do the support that we need? Because we've seen that although Jorginho has that deep lying playmaker role, he doesn't really live up to that, to the level that he had in the season when Tuchel came in, because he was supporting the back three. I remember when Christensen liked to go up forward, we'd see Jorginho sitting back to make that 3, or make a 5 rather, to really support these players when they go up. But we've seen that in the last season that just concluded, we haven't seen Jorginho do that. Jorginho has been making these little mistakes, and yes, we know that no player is perfect. I don't make the mistakes, and he does win the ball back sometimes. But can we say that Declan Rice is an improvement on what we want to do in terms of supporting Conte, or supporting Kovacic in that sense? Because we've seen that Kovacic has to come back and do double the work. He has to try to be a box-to-box, try to run down, try to get the ball back, make interceptions, try to dribble his way, make the passes up forward. When in the past we had Matic, where Fabregas was playing, because we know Fabregas, he was not the greatest defensively. He could probably do a little foot in here, try to win the ball back, and then make a pass, break the defenses apart, make a pass to Costa, make a pass to who is ever at the top of the field. Hazard, Costa, Willian, players like that. Pedro, players like that. We've seen that. But with a Matic there, we even see Matic at United. Fred is not the greatest of footballers, he's not the greatest midfielder. But when you have a Matic who sits deep, helps you to express yourself as a ball playing midfielder, or probably a playmaker rather, we've seen that he has more freedom to do things. But when you have like a McTominay and Fred, you don't really see that for Man United. So Matic is an ideal player when you look at it, to say that if we had like a Matic type of player who sits deep, allow these midfielders that have more offensive role as well as a defensive role to create, because people say that the midfield doesn't need to really create. We're not saying that they should be the only creators, But if they see like a little open space where you see like for example, I'm using current players who are still contracted to the team. If they're making a run, you see them make an overlapping pass to him. He makes a little pass over to Havertz. It's a goal tapping, simple as that. Things like that. We're not saying that they should be the creators per se, but they should at least like be able to make those little passes. We've seen what Liverpool do. The attack create, the midfield create on the real occasion. Thiago Alcantara make a little pass here. Henderson may make a little overlapping pass over to the right to Salah. Makes it in Jota, Fabinho. We've seen things like that. So it's not like that. So with Matic, we had that. With Declan Rice, can you say that we have that? No. If Declan Rice is a player that Tuchel wants, I'll back Tuchel. I'll see what he wants to do with him if we get him. But I mean, he's not my first choice. I'm not going to express any hatred. I just don't think that he's the player that can actually facilitate these players like a Kovacic or a Conte if he remains at the club, who like to go up forward, be offensive. Because we've seen what happens if you don't have a player who would be able to accommodate it. And I understand, because Declan Rice can play as a centre back, but as a DM he's more free. He has more freedom to help the attack, to help the other midfielders who play ahead of him. So I think in a sense, if Declan Rice comes in, I want to see what happens. But I think that we've seen what happens when when you have like a Jorginho out of position, Conte is caught out of position, Kovacic may lose the ball. We see that these attackers or opponents' attackers, they come into a 1v1 with our defenders, and that is down to us not having a midfielder support where it helps them to drop deep, and I can understand that. Like I said, Declan Rice can play as a centre back. He has done that for West Ham. And if they get a red card, he comes deep as a centre back to help them. And I can understand why people say that he could help us if that's the case where our players are caught in a 1v1. But what can he do if he doesn't really have that support? Because I see that Soucek is important. He plays an integral role in the player that Declan Rice is right now. If he doesn't have him right there, if Soucek is not doing good, because we saw that for West Ham. In the Europa League, they got eliminated by Frankfurt because of the fact that Soucek, I don't remember if Soucek was playing, but Declan Rice didn't really have that support to really help him to go forward and try to win the ball. Then, they made a pass, boom, goal for them, Frankfurt eliminate West Ham. So that is my concern. If he comes in, like I said, I'll back him, I'll support him, because I love to support the players who come in. If they don't do good, then I'll critique them, but I'll always support them. And the reason why I'm so angry when I don't see them do good is because I want to see every investment that comes from the club, every signing that we make work out. But sometimes they don't work out, and that's just life. Sometimes things don't work out. I know that with Bissouma being so versatile, he can be a box to box. He can win the ball back, so it's like a Kovacic and a Conte mixed together. He can dribble, can create, he can make passes, he can do things like that. He has a good shot on him sometimes. He can score goals for Brighton. And I know, with him being like that, I think probably that's why a lot of fans are upset. But to me, I think that Declan Rice is the first choice in terms of the priority in midfield, and that is why we weren't really persistent with trying to get Bissouma. I think we had interest in him, but I think because Declan Rice is the main choice, we decided to focus on him, try to find an agreement with West Ham, and then try to do something. That's the video for you guys. Like and subscribe, share the video, help me to get to 300 subscribers. Like and subscribe. Let's go. The window has opened for 4 days at the time of recording, and we need to we need to be relaxed. I think we're going to make signings. I think we will make good enough signings, but people need to remember that this rebuild will not take one window. It won't take two. It may take 4. It may take 3, depending if you want to include a winter window in it as well. So I think people need to understand that a rebuild doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in 1 year. Sometimes rebuilding, and we speak about the stadium as well. That rebuild will not take 1 year. It will take probably 2-3 years, probably longer than that, depending on the structure that we'll use to rebuild. So if you do a rebuild, it's not going to be happening. So we need to accept that if we get in the signings that we want, if we get in the players that we want, or players that can be the alternatives if we can't get those main targets, we need to understand that the situation is that we may miss out on certain players. We may not get top 4. We may get top 4. We may not do things like this. We may not challenge for the league yet. But it takes time. Patience. Time is a master. Peace. Share the video. Thank you.